जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा। प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद श्रीला ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 9, entitled Prahlad Maharaj Pacifies the Lord with Prayers, and text number 39. Please repeat after me. Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha. Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha. Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram. Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram. Kamaturam harshashoka bhaishanartam. Kamaturam harshashoka bhaishanartam. Tasmin katham tava gatim vimrishani dina. Tasmin katham tava gatim vimrishani dina. Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha. Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram. Kamaturam harshashoka bhaishanartam. Tasmin katham tava gatim vimrishani dina.
Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha. Sampriyate durita dustan asadu tivram. Kamaturam harshashoka bhaishanartam. Tasmin katham tava gatim vimrishani dina.
Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha.
Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha.
Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram.
Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram.
Kamaturam harshashoka bhayasanathatam.
Kamaturam harshashoka bhayasanathatam.
Tasmin katham tava gatim vimrishani dina.
Tasmin katham tava gatim vimrishani dina.
Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha.
Naitan manastava kathasu vaikunthanatha.
Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram.
Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram.
Kamaturam harshashoka bhaishanartam.
Kamaturam harshashoka bhaishanartam.
Tasmin kadam tava gatim vimrishani dina.
Tasmin kadam tava gatim vimrishani dina.
Mataji, please.
Naitan manastava
Anyone else? Naitam manastava kathasu Vaikunthanatha Sampriyate durita dustam asadu tivram Kamaturam harsha shoka bhayanturam Tasmin kadam tava gatim vimrashani dina. Word for word meaning, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Na, certainly, not, na means certainly not. Etaha, this, manaha, mind, tava, your, kathasu, in transcendental topics, Vaikunthanatha, O Lord of Vaikuntha, where there is no anxiety. Sampriyate is pacified or interested in. Durita, by sinful activities. Dustam, polluted. Asadhu, dishonest. Tivram, very difficult to control. Kama aturam, always full of different desires and lusty propensities. Harsha shoka, sometimes by jubilation and sometimes by distress. Bhaya, and sometimes by fear. Asana, and by desiring. Artam, distressed. Tasmin, in that mental status. Katham, how. Tava, your. Gatim, transcendental activities. Vimrishani, I shall consider and try to understand. Dinaha, who am most fallen and poor. Translation. My dear Lord of Vaikuntha planets, my dear Lord of the Vaikuntha planets, where there is no anxiety, my mind is extremely sinful and lusty, being sometimes so-called happy and sometimes so-called distressed. My mind is full of lamentation and fear, and it always seeks more and more money. Thus, it has become more polluted and is never satisfied in topics concerning you. I am therefore most fallen and poor. In such a status of life, how shall I be able to discuss your activities? Please repeat after me. My dear Lord of the Vaikuntha planets, where there is no anxiety, my mind is extremely sinful and lusty, being sometimes so-called happy and sometimes so-called distressed. My mind is full of lamentation and fear, and it always seeks more and more money. Thus it has become most polluted and is never satisfied in topics concerning you. I am therefore most fallen and poor. In such a status of life, how shall I be able to discuss your activities? Purport. Here Prahlad Maharaj represents himself as a common man, although he actually has nothing to do with this material world. Prahlad is always situated in the Vaikuntha planet of the spiritual world, but on behalf of the fallen souls, he asks how, when his mind is always disturbed by material things, he can discuss the transcendental position of the Lord. The mind becomes sinful because we are always engaged in sinful activities. Anything not connected with Krishna consciousness should be understood to be sinful. Indeed, Krishna demands in Bhagavad Gita 1866, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. As soon as one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Krishna immediately relieves one of the reactions of sinful activities. Therefore, one who is not surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord should be understood to be sinful, foolish, degraded among men, and bereft of all real knowledge because of atheistic propensities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.15, Namam duskritino mudaha pradyante naradhamaha maya prita jnana asurim bhavam ashritaha. Therefore, especially in this age of Kali, the mind must be cleansed, and this is possible only by possible by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. In this age, the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the only method by which to cleanse the sinful mind. When the mind is completely cleansed of all sinful reactions, one can then understand the duty in the human form of life. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant to educate sinful men so that they can become pious simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nama Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva Gatir Anyatha. To cleanse the heart so that one may become sober and wise in this age of Kali, there is no value to any method other than chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Prahlad Maharaj has confirmed this process in previous verses. Tvad viryagayan mahamrita magna chittaha. Prahlad further confirms that if one's mind is always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, that very qualification will purify one and keep one purified always. To understand the Lord and His activities, one must free his mind from all contamination of the material world. And this one can be achieved by simply chanting the Lord's holy name. Thus one becomes free from all material bondage. Om Ajnanatimrindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Mritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhurijan Prabhu iti namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatayane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So today we are continuing the prayers offered by Sri Prahlad Maharaj to Nrsimhadev. These beautiful prayers. No one in whole creation could pacify Lord Nrsimhadev. Nrsimhadev was so angry that no one even dared to go near him. But these wonderful qualities of Sri Prahlad Maharaj, seeing them, seeing his little wonderful devotee, so exalted devotee, even Prahlad Maharaj gives up his anger. So, being little creature sitting here in front of you, I would endeavor to glorify Prahlad Maharaj, beautiful qualities. So Lord Nrsimhadev, our worshipable deities and all assembled devotees, be pleased with my service. It's for my own purification. So this verse, the translation, Sri Prahlad Maharaj is saying that he is most sinful, most fallen in whole creation. So there are different types of moods, different types of prayers in which different moods of devotees are reflected. There is a book called Gaudiya Vaishnava Abhidhan, in which Haridas, not Haridas Thakur, but different Haridas has written this book from our Gaudiya Sampradaya, that he classifies 10 types of different moods seen in the prayers of Vaishnavas. So one of them is called Swadainya Bodhika, means devotee is expressing that himself is he is very, very fallen. He doesn't have good qualities. He is extremely materialistic. So that way he is expressing his humility, and he is embarrassed by his bad qualities, and he is telling the Lord that I am very fallen and poor. So Prahlad Maharaj, till these verses, you will come across so many verses, he has expressed his humility, his humbleness, and one of such verses we are covering today. So the question here comes, is Prahlad Maharaj like what he is saying in this verse? Does he have this kind of qualities? What do you think? Then why is he saying so? Yes. So what did Prabhupada said in the start of the purport? He mentions that here Prahlad Maharaj represents himself as a common man. Although he actually has nothing to do with this material world, Prahlad is always situated on the Vaikuntha planets of the spiritual world. But on the behalf of the fallen souls, he asks, how should I be delivered? Should I engage myself in devotional service when my mind is completely absorbed in materialistic activities? So Prabhupada takes out that point from here. But we, not only in Prahlad Maharaj's case, but many other cases we see this kind of mood is being reflected. For example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 6th Ashtakam. So he mentions, Durdevam Idrishani Nani Nanu Anuragam. I have no taste for chanting. Right? He says, although this holy name has all the potency invested by Lord Krishna in that single holy name, just by chanting that holy name, one can be delivered. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction whatsoever to chant the holy name. Is it real? Lord Mahaprabhu, first of all, he is Lord Krishna, and he comes in this material world amongst the human beings, becoming a devotee with the mood of Srimati Radhana, who is again, she is the topmost devotee of Lord Krishna. And Mahaprabhu takes that mood and comes and teaches the whole world that how to become Krishna conscious, how to achieve Krishna Prem. And then he establishes the Sankirtan movement on this planet Earth. And if you have heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you have read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, his chanting has such a wonderful effect on people that whomever he met, everyone just by seeing him chanting holy name, they also start chanting and dancing the holy name. Even what to speak of human beings, even animals give up their animosity amongst each other, and tiger and deer are embracing each other and they are chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Right? So that's the power of Mahaprabhu's chanting, and he is saying that I have no devotion, no attraction to chant the holy name. See? Our Srila Prabhupada, for example, that in the prayers he wrote on Jalduta ship, he mentions that I have no devotion whatsoever and I have no knowledge of Shastra. Right? I have no devotion and no knowledge of Shastra. Yet, I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta. But is it real? No, right? In the near future, we would see that Srila Prabhupada, what he did, no one could accomplish. Such a wonderful service he performed in service of his Guru Maharaj and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that every village and every town practically of this world, every country and continent of this world, holy name is being chanted now. And still it is happening. And again, if you think that we are doing, no, Prabhupada is still, his current is still flowing through the medium of his disciples and his grand disciples and so on and so forth, his followers. We are just like conductors carrying the current of bhakti that Srila Prabhupada is providing us. So, this kind of mood we see in such exalted devotees also. They express themselves as, they don't have any devotion, they are full of material qualities, they don't have any devotion, they don't have any attraction. But that doesn't mean that they are actually true. But there is truth also in that. How to understand that? So it is not that they are saying so just to show off. Prahlad Maharaj is saying so just to show off. Of course, Prabhupada mentions that to teach the fallen people of this material world, he takes that position and says, yes, so reality is, yes, it is not false, neither it is true. When they say such words in their utmost humility, they actually mean it. They do mean it. It's not that they are saying so just for show off that I'm such a fallen soul, but in their heart something else. Oh no, I'm taking position of humble Vaishnava so others can see and learn from me. No, not in that mood they are saying. They actually mean it. When they say so, they actually mean it. For example, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he writes most of the chapters towards the end, you will see he expresses his humbleness again. And you will see some sentences which you feel, oh my God, this is too heavy. For example, he would say, I am worm in the stool. So he puts himself as such a low creature that he is attracted to even filthy things like stool, which is compared to material pleasures of this world. But we know his character, he is not like that. But he genuinely feels like that, I am most fallen. So he is not saying just to say, just to show off, or to make it more poetic presentation. No, nothing like that. They actually mean it, and that's why that genuine feeling comes out. So it is not completely false either. There is some truth also, and we see when, for example, there is a white cloth, so it looks very clean. But if there is little spot there, black spot, it will stand out. So for these Vaishnavas, it's like that. Even little bit cessation from serving the Lord, or little bit deviation from thinking about Lord, or little bit interpretation occurs, for whatever reason, they feel themselves responsible for that, and they condemn themselves. And in natural mood, they condemn themselves and say such, see, I am such a fallen, and that's why this happened. For example, Madhvendra Puri in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that famous pastime we know about Gopinath, Khirchor Gopinath, before he became famous as a Khirchor Gopinath, right? What happened? Madhvendra Puri went to that Gopinath Mandir, and Brahmana was about to offer a kheer, which was very known for, very nice offering done to Gopinath. Madhvendra Puri knew. So he had desire to taste that kheer, so he could make it again and he could offer to his deities. But then that thought came and he condemned himself. Look at this. Such a sense gratifier am I. Lord hasn't even accepted the bhoga. He hasn't even eaten. Offering has not been done, and I desire to eat that kheer. What kind of fallen person I am. Like that, he condemns and he goes away. See? So even little bit of such a thing can bring utmost humility, and they condemn themselves. But that doesn't mean that they are in such a position like us. We hardly remember Krishna, and on the other side, they hardly forget Krishna. That's the difference between us and them. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, what was one of the great vow he took when he was child? Anyone knows? Yeah. So once his father was offering mangoes, and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, as a little boy, he desired to eat the mango. And his father corrected him. So that day he took a vow that I will never eat mango throughout my life. Can you imagine? So like that, devotees feel themselves as fallen, and when they see even little bit within their self, gross bad qualities, forget about that. Even subtle qualities which are against Krishna consciousness, that makes themselves forgetful of Krishna, then they condemn themselves. So in that light, we should see this verse. Prahlad Maharaj is expressing that I am such a fallen person. I am full of materialistic qualities, and I have so many bad qualities. Now let's examine what he says here. Let's examine, does he really have those qualities? So, reading the translation again. So there are particularly 4 things I am looking for, okay? So pick out those 4 things. I'll ask you, what are those things? So he's saying, being sometimes so-called happy and sometimes so-called distressed. Sorry, I'll read from further. First, my dear Lord of Vaikuntha planet, where there is no anxiety, my mind is extremely sinful and lusty, being sometimes so-called happy and sometimes so-called distressed. My mind is full of lamentation and fear, and it always seeks more and more money. Thus, it has become most polluted and is never satisfied in topics concerning you. I am therefore most fallen and poor. In such a status of life, how shall I be able to discuss your activities. So here, Prahlad Maharaj talks about particularly 4 things which he categorized as the obstacle. Because of those, he is not able to remember the Lord, engage himself in the service of the Lord. He is not able to do that. What are those 4 things? Money, very good. 1 point. Okay, you've covered 3. Lamentation and fear. And 1 is not particular word, but as a whole thing, in 1 word, if you have to say 1 or 2 words, what would be that one? Sense gratification. Okay? By which hankering and lamentation happens, distress and happiness, so-called distress and happiness comes. So, these are the 4 things. Prahlad Maharaj says, I am too much into sense gratification. I am overpowered by lamentation. When my desires are not fulfilled, I lament. And I become fearful. Whatever I have, if someone takes away, what if I don't get what I want? There is always fear. So by fear, and I want more and more money to secure. So sense gratification, lamentation, fear, and money. These are the 4 things Sri Prahlad Maharaj says that actually stops me from becoming good devotee of yours, Lord Nrsimhadev. So let's examine. Do Prahlad Maharaj really have these qualities? Or who has it? So sense gratification. Very well we know, if you look into ourselves, we know sense gratification means attraction to any material things. Prabhupada mentions in the Purport itself that, what is that? The mind becomes sinful because we are always engaged in the sinful activities. Anything not connected with Krishna consciousness should be understood to be sinful. So, that's other definition of sense gratification. That means whatever is not connected to Krishna consciousness is actually sense gratification. And when our mind and senses are engaged, which is not in activities which are not connected to Lord Krishna, then make sure that it is called sense gratification. You understand that it is called sense gratification. And that actually makes us difficult to remember the Lord. When we try to focus, we try to endeavor to chant the holy name or do any service, but because most of our time was gone into thinking other than Krishna, then when you endeavor to think about Krishna, we will face difficulty, we will face challenges, we will face hard time to do that. So that is the effect of sense gratification. In case of Prahlad Maharaj, it wasn't like that. In fact, his father was actually giving him all sorts of sense gratification to extreme extent. In fact, he even told Prahlad Maharaj's teachers that you don't teach other things but the sense gratification. You don't talk about all good things, but you teach him all the sense gratification, how to enjoy this material world to max. This kind of teachings you should be giving to my son. So he wanted to make his son just like himself. So Prahlad Maharaj had opportunity and he had everything to enjoy at his disposal, but he simply rejects. Right? So it's not true that Prahlad Maharaj is into sense gratification. It is us actually, as Prabhupada very aptly brings out in the first sentence of the Purport, that is actually for us that Prahlad Maharaj is saying. That even if you are, if your mind and senses are fully into sense gratification, but still you can make it in Krishna consciousness. Don't worry. How? So yes, we have seen that. Even in my personal experience, I have seen that. When mind is, for example, when you are changing the house, if you are renting and you have to find another house to rent, your mind is occupied with that, right? And wherever you go, wherever you see, you see the billboards, this is available for rent. And then you start, looking for what rents and what facilities and how it looks like and this and that. You don't see Krishna everywhere, but you see the billboards, So see, mind is always engaged like that. So imagine, there is just one thing, but if you are occupied with so many other things, not only house, but how to make money, how to expand my facilities or car or promotion in workplace and whatnot, so many things you have in life and you are occupied, your mind and senses are occupied in that. Think about that. Will Krishna come in your mind automatically? No, and even if you try, it will be very difficult, right? You will see the difficulty. And while chanting especially, you will see very drastically that mind is not actually taking shelter of the holy name. So this is the effect of sense gratification. The next point, lamentation. Now, as I said, Prahlad Maharaj was offered everything. In fact, his father was practically owning the whole universe, right? All the demigods were so much in fear that they gave up, they ran away. Practically they were hiding away from his father, Prahlad Maharaj's father, Hiranyakashipu. And at one point, Prahlad Maharaj was even told by his father that, you can be king of whole universe. You just do what I say. I'll give you everything. You can be a king. You can sit here on this throne, and everything is yours. Imagine you are given such a big position, wealth, power, and what do? You don't have to work so hard, just given like that. Will you take it or no? We are tempted, right? We'll take. But what did Prahlad Maharaj do? No, I don't want. He's not in jubilation. Oh, wow, look at this, I got so much. Without doing anything, I just inherited. My father just gave me. On the other side, even if we get little bit, if you're walking on the street and if we get, let's say, $5 note lying on the street, and you pick up and suddenly, someone comes and taps at your back. Oh, sorry, it was mine. Can you give me? And then, you feel, oh no, okay, take it, take it back, So we lament, oh, I wish I would have seen earlier and, gone away, that $5 would be mine, right? So we lament even just for, petty $5 note. What to speak of Prahlad Maharaj? He got everything and he just rejects and gives away. I don't want. My father, I don't want. There is no question of lamentation that I lost all these things. So certainly it's not Prahlad Maharaj who is having this quality, but it is us. Again, one more interesting incident I tell you about lamentation. Back in those years when I was studying architecture, I was very much into, design and, being very outstanding in my design work, in my architectural studies. And I had a goal, since my first year I had a goal that I would work so hard that I will get gold medal in the final year thesis, all right? So it's a 5 years course and I was working towards that. And then it went well, so far it went well, but then for some reason, cutting the long story back, when results came out, although I was the student who scored the highest in my design thesis, but the gold medal was transferred to the second highest person, okay, in the class. And again, that was like a huge margin. The second person was like way behind, like 30, 40 marks, which was too much. It was too. So I performed extremely well in my design, but it went to second highest person. And that broke my heart, It was so terrifying. My God, I worked for so much, and it just took away. And there was a reason. There were some rules that you have to have this. And I had 80KT, means you are failed in that subject, allowed to keep term, it is called 80KT, in one of the subject in previous semesters. Okay, so to be qualified to get that gold medal, you have to have clear in all the subject in previous semester as well. You can't repeat that subject. But unfortunately, I failed in one subject in the previous semester, so I was not qualified, and gold medal just slipped away. And it was so horrible experience for me. And for Goa Bro is laughing. And for a long time, actually, I was carrying the bitter feeling and kind of anger and lamentation within my heart. And so much so that I resolved within my heart that, okay, forget it, I don't want to live in this country. Because I stopped seeing my friends and, talking to them, and because I felt so embarrassed, and everyone knew this boy worked so hard, and, look at this. So my friends would laugh at me, and I felt so embarrassed and, humiliated like that in this experience. So I decided I don't want to live in this country. I want to go away. I leave India and go to some other country, and I will get in the best university, and I continue my master's in architecture studies, and I will get the gold medal in that university and show them that, I'm still worthy, I'm still qualified, I'm still great, like that, So that kind of attitude when I was young I had. And I did that. I got admission in Melbourne University in architecture, but for some reason, it didn't go in that direction. I was after gold medal, but I got golden person, Gauranga, in return. So those all materialistic aspiration fell apart. But talking about lamentation, if that time, if someone would have said, don't worry about this, just chant Hare Krishna, do this, do that, no way. I was so much into that mood that, come on. At one point, my mother told me, she was a bit concerned, we don't want to send him abroad, let him stay here. But then I told my mother one day, and by that sentence, she was afraid. I said, Mother, if you don't let me go, I'll go crazy. I'll become mad. And then my mother kind of gave up. Okay, let him go. Otherwise he'll do something wrong. So like that, it was piercing. This kind of lamentation, it actually pierces, it tortures you, it burns you constantly. So that kind of experience, personal experience I had. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, even lamentation for the materialistic things that you couldn't achieve, how am I be able to chant the holy name? How am I be able to worship you? How am I be able to remember you? It's impossible. And yes, it is true. The next quality, fear. Now, do Prahlad Maharaj have fear? How many times he was tried to kill? So many times, right? He was thrown into pit of full of snakes. He was thrown into burning, very big fire. Then he was thrown on the ground and tried elephant, killed by elephant. But was he fearful? He was running away from those. He was thrown from the cliff. But he just remembered Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. He was never ever fearful. So there is no fear in him. He knows everything in perfection. There is no fear. But fear is very much taking away our whole consciousness. It is us actually most always fearful of so many things. So many things. Demigods, for example, the previous chapter, especially Indra, talks about this. Hiranyakashipu was so powerful that even, when he was there and, all the demigods are in front of them and something is not what he wants, he's away from what he thinks, then he would just raise his eyebrow. Just movement of his eyebrow, Hiranyakashipu's eyebrow actually trembled whole material world. Everyone, just were fearful and they would hide. So just moving Hiranyakashipu's eyebrow was so devastating and instilled fear in even demigods who were so powerful that Indra says that Lord, my Lord, he was glorifying and tried to pacify Lord Nrsimhadev, and he said so, that my heart is meant for you, my consciousness is meant for you, that I should be always remembering and worshipping you and meditating you. But how can I do that when my mind, my heart is full of fear of this person, Hiranyakashipu? Right? So it is true, when we are in so much fear, mind constantly goes there. What to speak of remembering the Lord at that time? So it makes difficult. So these are the very good points Prahlad Maharaj is making. These are the obstacles on the path of devotional service. I was sick for past couple of days, and I told my wife, look at this. Vomiting and diarrhea and completely bed rest, body is broken, you don't feel like doing anything. And I'm trying to chant, but my mind is just with the body. You can't even chant properly. Just little bit of bodily pain takes your consciousness, whole consciousness towards that point. Your body. So what to speak of, real fear occurs in your life. If you are walking on the street in the dark, immediately your mind starts thinking that, someone will come and attack me. Someone will harm me. Someone will take away something from me, right? I remember many years ago, we had a retreat with His Grace Burijan Prabhu, and one of the exercise in the retreat back in Nandigram farm, Hare Krishna Valley, was that you take out couple of hours and you take nothing but the beads and go to secluded place. This is the first men's retreat or japa retreat we did with His Grace Purujan Babu that time, not the recent one, last year. So that time we didn't go to rooms like we did last year, but we went to forest in the Otway ranges. So I thought, okay, this would be my best time to do nice japa. I will go deep into these ranges, bushes, and spend couple of hours there and chant the holy name nicely, loudly, softly, close eyes, sit down, and I will have best experience. So with that kind of sankalpa, I went into the forest. But I had completely opposite experience. You know? After 2 hours, I realized I hardly chanted attentively, because my mind was constantly, when I sat and chanting, if there is some leaf sound coming, what is that? Immediately goes there. Is there any snake there? And then I climbed a little bit higher. There was one fallen tree, and I was sitting at the bottom, but then I climbed on the top, Okay, here snake won't come. And then started chanting, and then some other sound comes in, and eyes goes there. Snake coming, is climbing the trunk, So like that, immediately fear comes in. Yeah? And then you are so much attached that, you will lose life, you will die. But right in front of you, you have holy name. Even while chanting, if you die, you will go back to Godhead. But you don't have that conviction. And that's why you are so fearful. See? So this kind of fear also is the greatest obstacle in the devotional service. And last point is about money. What to speak of money? Do you think money is an obstacle or beneficial in bhakti? In case of Prahlad Maharaj, now Prahlad Maharaj would get, Prahlad Maharaj was given by his father everything he wanted, right? And everything he had. And even after Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu is gone, Prahlad Maharaj being the son, he would inherit everything, right? But Prahlad Maharaj already mentions this in the previous verses. If you remember, some verses back he mentions. He rejects all these things. He very clearly says, nothing will come to help end of the day. No matter how much power you have, what position you have, how good looking you are, what strength you have, what reputation you have, how much wealth you have, nothing will come. My father had everything, but now see, in front of us, he is dead here. Nothing helped him. So, same way, even if we put so much faith that money will protect me, it's not going to happen. Ultimately, only Krishna will help us. What will help? Devotional service, bhakti, and Prabhupada emphasized very much the holy name. In this whole purport, Prabhupada emphasized so much about holy name. That you make yourself so much equipped with the required things that help you to chant the holy name and help others also. That will save us. But now question comes, when our mind is full of material sense gratification, lamentation, fear, and money-seeking attitude, how we are going to resolve this? What is the solution for that? When Krishna received the letter from Rukmini, who would become his first queen in Dwarka, what was the position of Rukmini at that time? Rukmini actually never saw Lord Krishna, but still she had so much attraction, so much love for Lord Krishna that she decided that if I am going to get married, that would be only Krishna, Vasudeva, no one else. I'll quit my body if I don't get married to him. And like that, she expressed in that letter and sent it to Lord Krishna. So how did she get so much unflinching faith, so much attraction, so much love for Krishna? It is said, Prabhupada says, by hearing about Krishna. She would hear the glories of Lord Krishna from everywhere, every now and then. And just by hearing about Lord Krishna, she became so attracted. So today, we are in that case. Many people would ask, have you seen God? If you show me God, then only I will become devotee. How will I believe that there is God? No, we cannot see God at this point of time, but we can hear about Him, we can know about Him. And this is how actually loving relationship develops. It is not about externals. One may be very attractive, very beautiful and handsome externally, but if that person, practically if you think about it, if that person behaves with you with obnoxious qualities and obnoxious behavior, will you love that person? No. So it is the quality actually makes one attractive. It is not the externals. And even externals are not so attractive, but if that person has very good qualities, he'll become your good friend. You will have very good relationships. So it is the inner quality that makes one attractive, not the externals. And externals won't remain as it is, that we know. You may be beautiful at the young age, but it dwindles. And then the same person becomes so ugly, looks so ugly. But that person, if carrying the beautiful inner qualities, he'll be still very attractive. So like that, by qualities, knowing the qualities of Lord Krishna, we will become attracted to Lord. So that's the way to go in our case. But we are attracted to material qualities of this material world. The so-called material fame, wealth, strength, beauty. No, we focus, we shift our attention and consciousness towards Krishna's wonderful transcendental qualities of his devotees, qualities of his wonderful devotees like Prabhupada. And then you will see, just by hearing about those wonderful transcendental qualities, you develop attraction, you become attracted to Lord Krishna and his devotees and devotional service. So that's the way to go. And we do everything to achieve this. I'll end with one beautiful story, that to what extent devotee goes to help others to chant the holy name. So this real thing happened, and this is right from our Melbourne temple. So there is one devotee here in our temple who has very much attraction to chant the holy name. He is so much dedicated in chanting the holy name that you will never ever see. I hardly see his right hand, outside his bead bag. That kind of person he is. Chants, always chants. 16 is nothing for him, 16 rounds. So what happened, one day he was traveling to India, and in Holy Dham, he saw one old person, seemed to be very saintly, but same time he was quite poor, shabby clothes and not having anything, and he was sitting there. So our Prabhu felt to give little help to him. So he started talking to him, and he found out that this saintly person, he knows little bit astrology as well. So he thought, let me help him. Today I will give him some money, some Lakshmi, but it will go away, right? How long that money can last? But let me do something that can help him for a long time. So he convinced him that, okay, I have some people back in Australia, they always ask me about, astrology, this and that. So why don't we make a deal? I will bring people to you, you give them some advice, astrological advice, and then whatever Lakshmi they will give you, I will send it to you. So like that, you can use your skill, your astrological knowledge, and you'll get some money also like that. And that person agreed, okay. So Prabhu comes back to Melbourne, and he was already in contact with so many people, and he was actually genuinely getting all this request, right? So he thought, I'll help this person like that. So he comes back, and then here comes, someone comes, I have so many problems, this and that. So okay, that person said to this Prabhu, Panditji, do you see hand? Do you see astrology? Yes, I know. So he took all the details, and then called that person in India and spoke to him, and then said, okay, please check the astrology and give us some feedback. So that person gave him some feedback. And here Prabhu comes and he reads, okay, these are the things. Now that person, may not necessarily he was ISKCON Krishna's devotee, right? So he wrote, okay, you should wear this kind of clothes, this color clothes on this day. You should go to temple and offer yellow color cloth, worship banana tree, so and so forth, like that. So Prabhu read, and then what is my benefit in this? Prabhu felt, and these all kind of karma kandi things. So he thought, and then he called the person who asked for the astrology report, and he said, okay, these are the things, you have to do these things. Okay, so he mentioned whatever that person in India told him, astrologer told him, and top of that he added, every week once you have to visit ISKCON temple, and then daily you have to chant at least 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and whenever you come to temple, you at least bring something for Lord Krishna and offer, either fruit or flower like that, okay? So these are the things that astrologer told you to do that. So do that. And that person did that. And to his surprise, after some time, that devotee, that person, became devotee. He started regularly chanting even more rounds, So Prabhu thought, it's working very nicely. So he continued for some time like this. And then something happened that person in India, that poor saintly person in India, he couldn't contact anymore. Maybe, phone was disconnected or something like that. And then this kind of business stopped. And yes, Prabhu didn't keep any money. Whatever money he got, he transferred to that astrologer in India. Okay. But this thing stopped. So now what to do? And here some more requests are coming from people about astrology reading. So Prabhu started, going into their Facebook pages and started reading, what are they doing and what happened in their life and this and that. And then such one case happened that one person came, and then Prabhu was prepared. Okay, that astrologer, anyway, I can't contact him. I become astrologer. So from Facebook and all social media, he gathered information about that person and said, you had some problem with that friend, right? Oh, yes. And then you had some problem with your auntie as well back in India? Recently something happened like this with the property, right? Yes. How come you know? Yes, I saw the chart, all the things are there. And then top of that, he added Krishna conscious part. You should chant every day. You should come to temple and offer, this and that. So this is my advantage. I am not interested in, all this karma kanda, but I am interested in that making you chant the holy name. So he would add all this, potent items of devotional service, bhakti, and advise people to do that. So he knew very well all other things won't help, but just by chanting the holy name, these people who are in lamentation, in fear, in sense gratification, who are after money, it will purify them and eventually they will come. And it would work. And he saw it was working, but after some time, he stopped even that. He said, it's too much, for me to go into this thing and deal with this. Better, let me continue the chanting holy name and help people chanting. So he just stopped that service. But this was just wonderful experience I shared with you. That this glorious activities of devotional service, actually, when we do sincerely, it helps everyone. With that note, I shall conclude today's class. If any correction, please do so. Any questions, please do so. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. We have 10 minutes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Why people are more attracted to sense gratification and not so much to Krishna consciousness?
Yes. So we are here, Srila Prabhupada mentions that we are here in this material world from time immemorial. Means practically it's been so long in this material world that we even don't know when we came in this material world. And we left association of Krishna and embraced this sense gratificatory life in this material world. So mind is carrying the impressions of many births. Those activities we do, as I said, it carries the impression and it remains with you. And it takes time to undo that thing. And that's the reason that, so many lives and lives we have spent in sense gratificatory activities, and mind is full of those propensities and full of those impressions. That when we, at this time, when we try to erase them and remove them, we feel challenges, we feel hard. But Prabhupada says, continue. And it will eventually be cleansed, and one will become attracted to chant the holy name. The shift will come from material side to spiritual side. Swadhyaya, sadhana, that's the way to go. Anirudh Prabhu, Prabhuji, would you like to comment on Prabhu's question?
What was the question?
Why it is difficult for us to do devotional service? Why our mind is more attracted to material sense gratification?
I think you answered the question.
Thank you, Prabhu. Conditioning, yes. You're on mic, Prabhuji? Ravi,
What's the Bhagavatam verse? Lazy, slow, minds are disturbed. He upadrutaha. Yeah. I have a question. Isn't it, it's interesting how people have such a sentimental attachment and respect for somebody who says they're an astrologer. It's like, ooh, an astrologer. Right?
Normal people,
Normal people.
or devotees?
I think it's a cultural phenomena in a particular location. Right? And traditionally, the Brahmanas were learned in these arts, right? But what has happened to much of Brahminical culture is it's been degraded into money making.
Yes.
Right? But still there's that sentimental respect for somebody who's an astrologer, and will therefore solve my children's problems, my problems, my siblings' problems, my parents' problems, my grandparents' problems. Yes. It will all be solved by an astrologer. Right? Money problems, whatever problem you have, you can go to an astrologer and they'll give you some, like you said, worship a banana tree.
Yeah.
We sometimes have people come here to the temple and they worship the banana tree. In fact, I've noticed there's a new elephant, actually. Have you noticed in the garden there's a new elephant being offered to the banana tree?
This side, I think. Right?
Yeah, a little green elephant. We've got a new green elephant in the garden. So, it's interesting, isn't it? Whereas actually our philosophy, if you see Prabhupada, he did consult astrologers, but generally didn't give much. He would say, a bit like looking at the weather forecast. Mm. Not necessarily for solving problems, but just being aware that,
yes,
when things might be difficult or whatever. But effectively, for a devotee, the astrology doesn't change anything. It's what happens.
True.
Right? And usually we know that stuff happens. Yes. Even if we go to the astrologer, right? And the astrologer says, do this, do that, or do the other thing. Have a guess what? Stuff still happens.
Yes.
And it's never, millions of dollars in the bank or, no. Marriage problems all solved.
Yes.
Children suddenly start behaving themselves properly. It never happens like that. So it's interesting how, whether that's ethical or not, to say, I'll send your problem to the astrologer, and then he'll give you solutions, and then I'll add chanting of Hare Krishna, right? I guess it's one way, but it's a kind of, in my mind, that seems to be somewhat unethical, right? That's just my response to that story. Certainly we don't recommend that devotees do that kind of preaching. Just tell them to chant Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Instead of taking money and then sending it to somebody, and we don't know who that person is, right? And we know that the advice he's giving is all karma kanda, it's all nonsense anyway, right? And we're sending him money. I'm thinking, hey, give the money to Radha Ballabha. Tell him to chant Hare Krishna. Right? What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, okay.
But
just in case anybody's kept thinking, that's a good strategy. There's a good preaching strategy.
Yes, someone can deviate from the main focus, direct service to Lord Krishna. Yes, but yes, as I said, that devotee understood very well within short time, and he said, it's too much time consuming and not worth spending so much effort in this kind of endeavor. Yeah. Rather directly, engage devotees in devotional service. So he stopped that. But at one point, this happened just by...
I know.
Yeah. So he didn't intentionally do that, but then eventually he stopped it.
And he added Krishna, so that's a
benefit. Yes, and his main focus was to add Krishna, and he saw the results. Some devotees regularly chanted.
Yeah.
Some newcomers regularly started chanting. So that gave him a little bit more enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yes, Gyan Samudra Prabhu.
And why we've forgotten devotional services is because we've gone through so many births and deaths, and now we've forgotten the process of devotional service. And we've embraced sense gratification as the alternative because by nature we want to enjoy. But we're seeing by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we can only enjoy in the association of Krishna because that's our constitutional position. But yeah, we've gone through so many births and deaths, and now we've forgotten the process of devotional service. And by the Guru's mercy, he's opening our eyes to this torchlight of knowledge.
Prabhu's answer you were giving, yeah? Prabhu was giving your answer, comment on your question. Thank you, Prabhuji. Oh, here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and thank you for the nice class. Prabhuji, you mentioned how devotees must be humble, how we should think that we don't know anything and we should learn from others. So Prabhuji, in that case, how do we not lose our self-confidence? How do we keep our self-confidence in ourselves?
So, humility, humbleness is not that you say similar words what Sri Prabhupada mentions in this verse, right? As I mentioned, when they say such things, they mean it. And there is some truth in that. Although Prahlad Maharaj doesn't have those qualities, but he means it. And in the beginning of the class, I already mentioned, we already discussed on that topic, right? So humility is not condemning yourself, that I'm so bad, I don't have these qualities, I have so many materialistic qualities, I'm so and so forth, I'm warm in the stool, like that, not saying like that, just for sake of saying. Because when we say so things, we focus, our focus is on me, myself, I, right? So when that focus comes towards me, my, and I, then it's not humility, it's false humility. But when focus is towards Krishna, and you feel like that, then it is real humility. So in case of Prahlad Maharaj, it is like that. His focus is not himself, but Krishna. So something that makes him forgetful of Krishna, and he expresses in this way, then it is actually real humility. He sees Krishna in that. So humility is not about saying so things, because who is the center? I am. You are always constantly thinking about I, me, I am like that, I have these qualities. No. When focus is towards Krishna, Krishna has these beautiful qualities. And when you feel so, that I want to serve him, but see, I am not qualified. This is real humility. So focus is important. Is that okay? Okay, I shall conclude here. It's 9 o'clock. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki
Jaya.
Srila Prabhupada ki